What do you think, fine sir?
I think we're alive. Happy Halloween. Where's Bill Reel?
Yeah, where is Mr. Reel? This is it. So, you, Radio Free Vampire, me, Mr. Waldo. Where's Waldo? It is October 31st. It's a beautiful Friday. The trick-or-treaters have been hitting my home throughout the evening.
They were delicious.
We decorated the porch, made some jack-o'-lanterns tonight, stuck those out, had dismembered body parts all over the porch.
My favorite.
Yeah, you would love those, wouldn't you?
That way I don't have to dismember them myself.
Yeah. I think if that's the way you're going to talk all night, I'm just going to be chuckling at you all evening.
I would take the cheese, I would take them out, but I put them in with permanent adhesive. They're in for at least the night.
Well, there is that.
I sacrifice for my art, Mr. Waldo.
What are the rules for tonight? We told people we're not bringing you on unless you're in costume. There might be a tiny bit of leeway on that, but maybe not much.
I'm going to have to leave that to Mr. Waldo because he's the bad cop in this duo.
Well, okay. You're going to be good cop. I'll be bad cop. Got it.
Yes. I look like the insipid vampire.
The insipid. Okay. Well, there's that. Well, we do have
these out. Does it get any better or is it worse?
It's I think it's better. I think
I'm gonna eyebrows. Oh my gosh. You should have seen them before I took off half of what I put on. I looked like Bert from Bert and Ernie.
Hey there, Bert. How are you doing there?
Ernie.
Well, we've got some people down below. Didn't know how you wanted to start tonight's show. But
all are welcome. All welcome.
Should we bring them on?
Yes, please. I want to hear some scary stories from people in costume. What costume are you wearing tonight, Linda and Corey? Oh, what happened?
Oh, what did I do?
You turned your camera off.
I think I did.
Hello. We went out and we bought these wonderful shirts, and you can't even see them. This is an artist here in Helper. We're in our trailer, by the way. Nobody's called you from their fifth wheel before. So we're in Helper, Utah. And can you see my husband's? It's called Mormon Rockwell, and this fun artist does. Can you see Brigham? And can you guys see it? Did I do it right?
Yeah,
and he's getting tattoos of all of his wife's names on his arm. So anyway, we went out. We were so excited to buy these and show you, and then it was a flop. So I'm sorry.
He has a lot of arms, Brigham.
He did have a big arm.
A lot of arms on that guy. For all those wives get tattooed.
So I was so excited today. I love your show. I've never, ever called anybody. Never done this before. This is so not us.
Well, you're doing great so far.
Can I tell you, I would like to play a game. It's very quick, and I set up a true-false game to get our party started. How about it?
Okay. Can you play it with Waldo, and I'll observe?
No, it's for both of you. True or false? Utah State Asylum in Provo, Utah. So you got to figure this is Mormonville. In the 70s, someone thought it would be a good idea to open the doors on Halloween and do a spook alley with the patients at the asylum. And they used them as actors until the ACLU shut it down. True or
I
false?
thought the SAG would get involved.
It was the ACU, not the SAG. I got that, though.
That I'm going to say true.
It is true. True or false? Bill Reel blew our minds when he explained McConkie Mormonism. At 18, we have been on the periphery of Mormonism since we were young. And we went through a totally different Mormon experience in Bountiful and Salt Lake than our kids did in Kaysville in the 90s. It's all McConkie Mormonism. True or false?
What's the question? It's in Kaysville. It's all McConkie Mormonism?
No, McConkie Mormonism started, what year? When did that start?
McConkie Mormonism?
Yes.
That doesn't sound like a true or false question.
Was Mormon doctrine written in the 1960s?
I don't know. We had a very different religious experience than our children. And McConkie, in my opinion, you were talking about this, Bill. I don't know if you recall, but you were saying that he kind of hijacked the curriculum and he went more all in with the Book of Mormon. And am I wrong?
When I don't know that if I don't remember me talking about this. I know RFM has talked about it before, but
I thought
1981.
it was you.
1981 is when McConkie's version, I think, of the Book of Mormon and other things that he had his
You say 58 because we're getting 58 up here, like cherries across the top of the deck.
Okay. Well, we grew up with the Bible being really front and center, and I graduated in 81. And somehow when my kids started, getting into the curriculum, it was all about the Book of Mormon, and it just felt like a different church. You couldn't wear sleeveless when you were in Young Women's, and I don't know, it was just there was such a different church than from what I grew up with. And I
The church
thought
has
that it
certainly
was
been
you
relaxing
guys.
its standards.
Well, I thought it was you guys no, we were easier. I was in Bountiful, and we didn't have it as tough as our kids did. They were tough on our kids in Davis County, I felt like.
I can't speak for Utah because I was not. I didn't join the church there, and I didn't attend the church there. I understand it's a different world.
Oh, it was, man. I had a lady come up to me in Dillard's and say, "Why are you buying your daughter sleeveless dresses? We don't put our children in sleeveless dresses." I mean, it was different than when I grew up. We wore halter tops. We didn't care. I mean, it just wasn't as strict. It really wasn't. But anyway, okay, that was kind of let's move on. True or false? We asked one of two people that we thought possibly had the second anointing, and they did not deny it. True or false?
What do you think, RFM?
I don't even understand the question.
True. You asked if they had the second anointing, and they didn't deny that they had it. That's true.
They said it's true. It's true.
What did they say?
They said, "Why would you think that?"
Mm-hmm.
Saw you go into the temple on a Sunday.
Because there's glow coming from your face. That special glow.
Okay. True or false? We met John and Margie DeLynn, and they are wonderful human beings. If we met RFM and Bill Reel, would they be as lovely? This is more of a
Bill
yes or
might.
no.
Bill might.
Slim
Bill
did not.
might.
Yes, he's my better half.
Okay.
One more.
And thanks to RFM's expert tutorial on Hamlet, we caught the spoiled in Denmark reference while watching the show Wednesday yesterday. It came
And
out
even the rotten in the state of Denmark. Yes.
Yes, sir. It came out, and we were like, "Oh, I've heard this."
You can use it in general conversation.
False. My father was at a family reunion in Willard, Utah. Relatives Eldridge and Hortense Smith. Does those names sound familiar?
Ravenclaw.
Smith, Hortense, and Eldridge came, and they asked my dad to help them. I was not there. They asked my dad to help him carry items of Joseph Smith's from the car. He carried the box used to hide the plates while hiding them in a barrel. Have you guys heard the barrel of beans story?
Nobody's heard the barrel of beans
and
story.
he said it was a very small box. And the funny part was, this would have been in about the 80s. About 3 years ago, I heard the story when we were coming home from Idaho. And I said, "Dad, most people would be dining out on that story forever. Why am I just hearing that now?" I said, "Dad, do you think that the Book of Mormon is a pirate story?" And he said he'd never said anything to me in his life. He wasn't devout. He did what my mom wanted, but he just said, "Yeah, there's a lot of fairy tales coming from the upper New York region at that time." So I thought that was really interesting. But yeah, he carried this box that they go around touting as the box that was in the. Did you know what I'm saying, RFM? Bill, you were nodding, but supposedly they got pulled over and somebody was.
Yes,
Were they going to
because they were
rob him or
speeding.
something? Pardon
were
me?
pulled over by the state patrol for transporting too many beans in one wagon.
Yeah, that was it. I forgot.
You said Eldridge G. Smith. Eldridge G. would also not only bring the box, usually, he brought the
The
clothes
shirt.
Smith
Hiram's.
that had the bloodstains on it, and his kids, when they were little, would run around the room and wear them, and they just wearing the bloody clothes of Hiram
Yeah,
Smith.
that was there too. That was there at the family reunion too. But anyway, so thank you for humoring us. Can I just tell you how much fun you guys are, and look forward to meeting you like we have John and Margie.
Well, thank you very much for calling in. Stay safe on this Halloween night. It can get very spooky out.
Okay, you as well.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. You know, I'm not trying to do an accent with this. It's just, if I'm going to hold this in and these teeth in and try not to make them drop out, I have to end up talking like this.
I think, Josephine, he should read Shakespeare while wearing those teeth, and we should try not to laugh and see if we can
Well,
do it.
I was an English major, so I support this.
An English major?
Yeah, so
Wow.
I
Well,
so
know a
kindred
lot about
spirit.
Shakespeare. What?
A kindred spirit.
Yes, exactly. I always appreciate your Shakespeare quotes. I appreciate the show in general.
Well,
So I just want to say
I think
happy.
you're better with makeup than I am. It's just my general observation. It may be close, but I think you're a little bit better at the makeup thing than I am. It's been a while since I put on my own makeup.
You should try it sometime. I can give you a makeover if you want. My mom was a makeup artist, and so was my grandpa. So I can, runs in the family. I can give you a little
You
from
think I
Los
need a
Angeles. Give
makeover?
you a
Is that
little.
what you're saying, Josephine?
Is what?
You think I need a makeover?
No, that's not what I meant. But you said you wanted someone to do you said you wanted to do makeup, so I figured I'd offer.
I appreciate that. I love the makeup. I love the green. There's something about, I don't know what's going on. Do you have a green in your light that's shining on you at all?
No, it's just the eye makeup.
Wow. It's like it carries over not only into the rest of your face, but into the rest of the room.
Well, thank you. Then it's effective. I just was gonna say, this is probably gonna be the weirdest call you get tonight. In advance, I'm just warning you.
Okay.
Should I just start? Should I just start talking? Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right. So it's Samhain and the veil is thin, and I needed a place to be spooky and honest. And I appreciate the show, and you guys are honest here. So I have some notes in front of me just so I don't totally ramble because there's a lot that I'm going to throw at you, if that's all right. It's nothing too scary, I promise. But basically, I'm in a committed long-term relationship with Joseph Smith, and I can explain. I can clarify.
Did you
So
call into the first episode of
no,
this?
that was not me. That was not me.
Well,
That
then
was,
how do you explain there being two of you?
well, I can explain.
Okay. I mean, anyway.
We're getting ahead of ourselves. To clarify, I have DID, which is dissociative identity disorder, and it used to be
Yes.
called multiple personality disorder. So I actually have an alter who's based on the historical figure, like he's a version of Joseph Smith. And it's funny because I really enjoy this show. I've learned a lot. I'm like a never Mormon, shockingly. So I've learned a lot from the show. He's less of a fan, but
Joseph Smith is less of a fan?
Of this show. Yeah, I'm sorry to inform you.
Really? Because I would have thought we had a lot in common.
But basically over time he's become something like kind of spiritual in a way for me that goes beyond psychology. I swear this is not a bit. It's not a delusion. He's part of basically how my brain protects and organizes itself. I know there's some people here who understand trauma. I haven't been through the same religious trauma, but I've been through a lot. And we have
internal family systems. So I'm very well aware of having different parts of you, and some of those parts can be a little out there.
Yeah, I mean, I've had the ones that I've had since childhood, like the kid alters, and Joseph helps look after them, and they all call him daddy, and they're like, he's our, it's not in a weird way. Not in a weird way. No, I mean, like,
don't leave him alone with them. That's not good.
Oh my gosh, no.
That's not good.
No.
So Josephine, is that built into your name? Is that why it's Josephine?
That's why it's that right now. Like, because I didn't want to use my real name on this.
And that's perfectly acceptable. I always use my real name.
Yeah, RFM. That's exactly
That's the one.
radio. Well, RFV, Radio Free
But you're not
Vampire.
saying this is the real Joseph Smith, are you? It's
See,
just the way that your personality uses to organize itself.
it's a little confusing because on the one hand, like, yeah, I know this is where it gets nuanced. Um, I you could choose to look at it, and I do sometimes as a purely psychological thing, like, because once your brain learns to make these parts, it'll keep doing it. And I was sort of like, okay, well, this is a comforting figure of some kind that developed. Um, but then at the same time, it kind of became like it evolved into like a sort of spiritual thing. Like I think sometimes maybe it's like how a ghost is like an echo of a person, but not literally that person.
Hmm.
So I don't really understand how it all works. I just kind of roll with it.
Well, if you get the chance, on the off chance that it is a ghost that used to be Joseph Smith, could you please ask him what the hell happened in his last few seconds and who it was who shot him? Whether it was what everybody in the world believes, except for a few mental cases, which is that it was the mob who were trying to shoot the heck out of him. They shot him to pieces and he died. Or whether the mob was just a very clever ruse to cover up the fact that John Taylor was sneaking up on Joseph Smith from behind and
I
he
don't
did the
think
deed. That's what we
I
want to find out.
I don't think it was that, but
Well, you can always ask. It doesn't hurt to ask.
Can I ask you something?
yeah.
So I see three options. One is that you said Joseph Smith doesn't really like our show. He doesn't really like the work that we do.
Well, it's not quite that, because here's the thing. He only has access to the memories that I have, which leads me to believe that he's psychological, though he says he forgets things and needs me to like help him recover his memories. So he made me read the whole Book of Mormon and D&C and all that. So like, and I watch these videos partly to understand him better. Like I recently watched the whole thing on the Kirtland Safety Society, and I brought that up with him, and it was kind of an interesting conversation with watching him try to defend that.
What was his response?
His response was basically that, prophets are human and they make human errors, and that he was trying to do the right thing and that his goals were always sometimes too idealistic. And although he's actually kind of recently, he did this sort of like ritual to kind of release some of the women and girls that he felt like maybe didn't really belong to him. Like he's kind of come a long way in his time here, maybe because he empathizes with me and my trauma, like living in my body. So he's sort of like had to sort of like reassess a lot of things. There's things that he doubles down on where he's just like, oh, well, the angel told me that. But then there's things where he's like, well, maybe I was blinded by my own lust or like greed. And I'm like, okay, well, at least we're making like therapeutic progress here, Joseph. You're starting to like be a little self-aware with this.
Fucking the girls is probably not too altruistic. I'm just my 2 cents. I'm just gonna jump in here. I'm gonna say something a little crazy.
I'm sorry to have to be the grown-up in the room, Josephine. I think that you're doing great, and I'm glad that you're dealing with all this stuff as well as you are, and obviously you are.
Thank you. I mean,
Have you seen a professional?
Yeah, I was diagnosed in 2014 with this, and I have a lot of things. Like I was diagnosed with Asperger's when I was a kid, and I've gotten a ton of different mental health diagnoses over the years, and I've been in my fair share of, loony bins and stuff like that. But I know
you are currently seeing a professional?
Yeah, I'm seeing a professional. I'm actually looking. I've seen some DID specialists, and I'm trying to find one now again. But where I live right now, there's really not.
DID.
Dissociative identity disorder.
Nice.
Yes.
Used to be multiple personality disorder.
Used to be called multiple personality disorder.
They decided to change it.
Yeah, because it was a little misleading. It made it sound like a personality disorder when it's not. Like it's a DSM classification thing. But I know this sounds unhinged, is what I have to say. Honestly, most of the things I've been through are way scarier than having a ghost husband. Like, I think I'm just going to say, because this is Mormonism After Dark, so I have to get spicy here for a minute. I have to say that the way I don't want to say summoned, because that implies that he's external when I'm not sure if he is, but I did like a sex magic ritual before he ever appeared as a figure in my DID system, because I figured if anyone was going to hear me across the veil, it'd be him. And I was like, well, he's a horny dude, so
he loves magic and he loves rituals. So
I was like, this is gonna get his attention. And then he showed up in my head, and I was like, all right. this is happening now. I don't know if that was a good idea, but I did it.
And he said,
So-
extending his right hand, "You have prayed me here."
Now, what do you want with me?
What do you want with me? It was pretty obvious what I wanted with him, but like,
Well, he
I-
one of his plural wives was a really good lover, and I imagine that Joseph Smith, maybe he was a great lover too. Maybe
well, I do make out with this death mask replica sometimes, which is probably the gothest thing I'll say tonight. What does Joe look like? Someone says. Oh my God.
one person's death mask is another man's toy, another woman's toy. So
Yeah, exactly.
You haven't seen him though, have you?
No, here's the thing. I can kind of see him internally, but I don't hallucinate or anything. It's like when I look into my mind's eye, I can kind of see this, what I call the headspace or the in world, where he lives with the other alters, like one I've had since I was a kid, who is my sister wife now. So if you can imagine that, he's married to two of us, two of our person, like me and another personality, which is very like a one-person soap opera kind of. It gets very dramatic. Like he cheated on me and I got upset. And then sometimes he flirts with my friends and stuff, and that's awkward. But they usually just roll with it. They're like, it's Joseph. It's Josie. It's good old Joe.
so you see him with your spiritual eyes, like a city behind a mountain.
Exactly. I see him with my spiritual eyes, my third eye.
I love it.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you for letting me ramble about that.
Yes,
I hope that
absolutely.
made any
Absolutely,
sense.
Josephine.
Call in again and tell us more about what Joseph thinks about the memories of this show you take back with you.
Yeah, I was gonna say we keep weird hours. I can't. It's not like a parlor trick where I can just like summon him up, But yeah, someone says I thought we already met the reincarnated Joseph last year. I'm not the reincarnation of Joseph Smith. I do not believe that.
No, you're in a relationship with Joseph Smith who exists internally, not externally for you.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think there might be a spiritual element to it that I haven't
completely
yet.
different from reincarnation.
Yeah, different. It's different vibe, but it's still weird. It's still weird. But thank you.
I think that's the line of like where the sanity and insanity is that it's not real.
Well, I've talked to my psychiatrist and he's like, this isn't a delusion because you're aware, like you're self-aware enough that
right.
It's just a trauma thing.
Yep.
Sorry for talking over you. I didn't mean to do that. There's a lag.
It's okay. I do it all the time.
He does. Well, thank you.
Okay.
Please call back in again. Josephine, by the way, was one of Joseph Smith's daughters, correct?
Josephine.
Was it the Murdoch?
No, it's Josephine.
I can't remember what it was, but it was Josephine something. And somebody in the live chat will remember it. And the mother said that she named her Josephine because her father was Joseph, and then the DNA did not pan out in that regard, right. I believe.
I did hear about that.
That's right. That was the mother-daughter.
Sessions. Thanks, Colby.
Sessions and Sylvia Sessions. Yeah, there you go.
Not a daughter.
Mother-daughter. Patty Sessions and Sylvia Sessions were both plural wives of Joseph Smith. Patty, I think, was the mom. Sylvia was the daughter, and Sylvia had the daughter named Josephine, who she thought was the child of Joseph Smith.
Well, I don't know, because Debbie Donovan saying I'm right, Colby saying I'm wrong, so I'm agreeing with Debbie.
Okay, well, we'll let folks, maybe Dan Vogel will weigh in.
I think he's out trick-or-treating.
He should.
A very windy, cold, and dark Ohio night.
Well, tell Brother Joseph we said hi.
I will.
We look forward to hearing back from you.
All right, thank you for letting me come on and say this insane spiel. I really appreciate it, and I will be watching.
Excellent.
Okay, thanks, Josephine. See you later.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
That was pretty cool.
Well, yeah, especially the cuddling up with a death mask.
Yeah,
I've always wanted to do.
Yeah, I mean, who gets to define what a sex toy is, I guess, huh?
I don't know. I have no idea. Sometimes you leave me flat-footed, Waldo.
I'm sorry. Well, I was going to tell you, I went on vacation this week, and I was wondering, you can probably find me in the picture, right? I was at the beach this week, and
you're this really muscular guy lying on the beach in the bottom right.
Yeah, almost.
No?
No.
I couldn't find you.
Yeah, well, nobody can.
Oh my gosh.
It's Green Arrow. Hey, get that laser out of my eyes, Tim. I'm going to call the cops on you.
Oh,
It's the Wizard of Warlock or something.
it's the Wizard of Warlock. And I have my tarot cards if anybody wants their
Fortune read?
fortune read.
Yeah, I used
Good
to do
evening.
the tarot with the major arcana and the minor arcana.
Yes.
That's very cool,
Indeed.
Tim. I didn't know you were into that occult stuff.
Oh, yeah. I've been doing it for years.
You do tarot readings?
Yes, I do.
What layout pattern do you prefer?
I don't remember what it's called. I've been doing it, I can't remember. I've been doing it for so long. I don't.
Very good. And you put stock in it.
Sometimes.
Which times are those?
I had a friend who was a psychologist, and she did mine and I did hers, and both of them turned out to be true. At
Tim,
some
your
point,
friend, the psychologist, when you have to pay them by the hour, they're not your friend.
I didn't have to pay her at all. She was my girlfriend for a while.
Okay, very good. So, why did you bring her up again? I'm sorry. Your friend, the psychologist, what? She said what?
You asked me if I believed in it.
Yes.
And I said, we did it once. She did it, and she did it for me, and I did it for her, and they were spot on. It's the most accurate reading that I've ever done for anybody.
When you say that, does that mean that the other person agreed? It was an internal assessment of what this person was like?
Well, I knew her well enough also to know that it was pretty true, pretty accurate. Yeah.
Okay, but you're not talking about the future.
No.
Are you talking about past occurrences that happened?
Past occurrences that, well, it was partially future because something that we predicted happened to us a few days later. It was wild. I mean, it was just very interesting.
What was it?
I don't remember. It's been a long time ago. 10. What? Go ahead.
Well, are you prepared to pull a tarot card out and tell us something that would acknowledge that the tarot cards that the magic works?
Oh, I have to do a reading. I have to let's see, we got the Knight of Cups.
Great. What does that mean?
I don't remember. I have to look it up.
This is
cool.
cool.
And the minor arcana.
Yes.
What is it? Cups, wands, pentacles, and swords.
Yes. Cups, wands, pentacles, and swords. Yes. Anyway.
Instead of clubs, diamonds, hearts, spades.
Correct.
And I think they have a page instead of a jack.
Right. Yeah.
So, Tim, what brings you to our humble program? You look great. Did you bring a story?
Oh, do I have a story for you?
I'm hoping you do. Don't toy with me, Tim.
A long time ago and far away in a far off land, I was dreaming one night and a being appeared to me, and he told me, someday you'll be gone. No, wait. No, this being appeared to me, telling me how that I had great wisdom and that I would be teaching people important things one day. And all of a sudden, I became the wise man on the mountain. And now years later, I'm teaching people about the truth about the church and about life.
So you see this as a fulfillment of that prophecy?
Yeah, I do. It happened in the 90s. I had this dream, and I was climbing up the mountain, and I met a wise man. And he told me some things. I don't remember everything, but one of the main things was that I was wiser than I thought.
Tim?
Yeah, but I don't have the diary anymore.
Okay, because that's back when we were supposed to keep journals.
Yes.
Yes. And all of a sudden I became him. And
In the dream.
in the dream.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was looking, I have a son, my oldest son looks a lot like me, and it turned out to be my son Daniel. And anyway, you know how those dreams go. And I tried to impart onto him what I learned.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
So now you're the old wise man on the
The
hill.
old wise man. I'm Tim the Enchanter from Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
I sort of remember that.
Yes.
You want to do one of those lines, don't you? What does Tim the Enchanter say in the movie?
Let me see. And
You don't have these memorized? You don't have these ready to go? I thought you would.
he who conjures up fire and tinder. It's been too long. I used to have it memorized.
Okay.
I know the bridge one better. He who crosses the bridge of death must answer me these questions 3. Air of the other side, EC. What is your name?
Radio Free Mormon.
What is your quest?
To find the Holy Grail.
What is your favorite color?
Blue. No red.
Anyway.
Well,
Just
thank you
want to have
for
some
sharing that
fun.
with us, Tim. I hope you're having a wonderful Halloween.
I'm watching the World Series. My team's winning. The Dodgers are winning. So I'm very happy.
Oh, the Dodgers are playing in the World Series this year?
The Dodgers and the Blue Jays, yes. It's 3-1.
Wow. Okay,
Yep.
that's great.
The Dodgers and the Yankees, I think, are the 2 highest payrolls in baseball, so they should be in there pretty much every year.
Yes, I agree.
Blue Jays
And I
get in
like
there.
both teams.
It's
I like
cheating.
both teams.
That's cheating the system, Tim. Picking the 2 highest payrolls as your favorite teams ensures that almost every year you're happy at Christmas.
Hey, when I was a kid, I grew up in West LA, and my mom used to take us to Dodger games all the time. So, yeah.
You know another huge Dodgers fan?
Yeah,
Alan Mount is a huge Dodgers fan.
really.
Yep.
I don't know who that is.
Alan and Katie Mount, they used to do the Marriage on a Tightrope podcast.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Well, thank you, Tim.
Thank you for letting me on.
Yep.
Have a good evening.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
All right. I'm a little worried. I don't know if this guy has a costume, RFM. We might not be able to leave him on very long.
DG?
DG, do you have a costume on, DG? Let's see it. What do you got? Oh, he's the mortician. I get it.
I think so. DG, have I been standing up too close or back too far?
RFM will probably get this. Bill may not. You have to be
No,
in the temple before 1990 to recognize it.
I know who you are.
Oh,
Your powers and your priesthoods, my friend.
He does. He has a. I think you have an apron on, don't you?
yes. Wow, Bill, what a nice podcast you have here.
Yeah.
Do you know DG Waldo?
I thought he was Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego there for a bit, but
if they don't live up to these words on this day,
actually, you're stealing my lines. I have a word to say concerning these people watching this podcast.
Concerning
if
these
they don't
actors.
walk up and donate in support of this podcast this day, they will be in my power.
Wow, that's terrifying. That should get everybody to go to Radio Free Mormon. No, to MormonismAfterDark.org, right?
Yeah.
no,
It's not just Satan. Which particular Satan am I?
I don't know. You sounded really hammy, so I'm guessing Michael Balaam.
No.
He was the biggest ham, wasn't he? That's ever been any character really in any of the endowment.
Especially where he tears that branch off the tree. That was my favorite part.
Yeah, he was really method acting there.
I'm trying to portray the live endowment version of Satan. The black shirt, the black jacket.
I've never seen a live version, DG.
Not? Oh, I guess the only two I remember. Of course, I'm not quite as old as you are, Film, but
thanks a lot. A little ageist joke there, huh?
Yeah. the Salt Lake Temple and I think Manti were the only two that were still doing live endowments until I don't know when. I think they've all converted to the film or the film strip or the PowerPoint presentation at this point. But yeah, one of the scariest things I ever witnessed was when I was taking my brother through the Salt Lake Temple. This would have been circa 1990, I think, maybe 89. And it was
It's
the
an
live
important
endowment.
distinction.
Yeah. And you know, there is nothing more scary than an 83-year-old guy trying to act as Satan in the Temple Endowment film. And you know, he's got his cane and it just didn't have the same effect really. But
when I play Satan, I find that these are quite terrifying.
Yes.
Till he said something.
Yes, absolutely. Anyway, I just a real quick comment. Last week on the newscast, y'all were making commentary on the interview with the new first presidency by Sister Diane Sawyer, I think.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was hilarious that Bill, I think you were playing the sound at 1.5 speed. And did anybody else think that it was unusual that President Oaks and President Eyring actually sound normal at 1.5 times speed?
Yes, at 1.5 speed, at 1.5 speed, they look lifelike.
Yeah, they actually sound like they're normal. Whereas Elder Christofferson sound like he's been huffing helium or something. But anyway, I just thought that was hilarious. But you had mentioned about Elder Christofferson, you know, being in this front row seat to history with the Watergate scandal.
Oh, yes.
But you're missing the overall. You're missing the overall.
What's the overall, DG?
He was among the first to hear the Nixon tapes once they were released to Judge. Who was he the clerk for? Sirica. Yeah, he and Judge Sirica were among the first to hear those tapes outside of the Nixon White House. And so when he was actually made a general authority, I thought that was the coolest thing. You know, here's a guy that was front row seat to history. He was among the first to listen to the Nixon tapes. Of course, he had a few other key roles as a clerk. And it's not that I was disagreeing with you in his role as a clerk, but I just thought it was important to note that he was among the first to hear what was on those tapes.
But not the 18 minutes.
Yeah, right.
Nobody's ever heard what was on the 18 minutes. It was
No.
18 minutes, wasn't it?
Yes. The secretary who accidentally, you know, recorded over it or anyway.
It had been erased inadvertently.
Yeah, exactly. But in fact, that's kind of that's one of the things I admired about him. And of course, the whole narrative of, you know, doing the right thing, making good decisions. There'll always be people that will do good and stand up for what is right, until I'm learning in my older years that this is not what the church believes. This is not what the brethren do. And so, yeah, that's just what made it even more insulting, you know, especially after his role as a church historian there for a brief stint. But I will say, you know, one of my most favorite Robert Redford films of all time outside of The Sting is All the President's Men. And I actually was able to accomplish one of my bucket list items about 3 years ago. I went to DC. I took a trip to DC, and right across the Potomac, right across from the Lincoln Memorial is Roslyn, Virginia. What my bucket list item is, I wanted to go to the parking garage where Deep Throat talked to Bob Woodward. And it's still there. It's still there. You can actually go there. We went to Roslyn, Virginia. The parking garage is not this huge facility like you see in the movie as portrayed in the film, but it's there. It's on the lowest level, and there's a sign out front, a historic landmark, and you can actually go down. It's publicly available. And my friend and I went down there and we reenacted, you know, you're missing the overall, you know, and it's Redford's character as Bob Woodward. You know, I want to know what you know. The reason why I love you guys is because I want to know what you know. Follow the money, you know, as the film would say. But that's most of it. But I loved that. I loved your take on that whole first presidency interview and how the questions were obviously planned out well in advance. I love what y'all do, and I just wanted to get in. I'm not very imaginative when it comes to costumes, of course, but I thought, oh, let's just see who gets this. But yeah, the live endowment statement, that's what I'm trying to portray tonight.
Well, thank you so much. It was 18 minutes. I did double check. It was the 18-minute gap in the tape. And you're right. The secretary said, oops, I accidentally deleted it, even though when it was investigated, it showed that it was done manually on more than once. So
Yeah.
this was a really key piece of evidence in those Watergate tapes. You know what Nixon said when he was asked, what's with this 18-minute gap? He said, oops, I deleted it.
And of course, kids today, tape recordings, what's that? Oh, anyway. But I love what y'all do. Keep going. Happy Halloween, everyone. And
Thank you.
We'll check you out later. And if you do not walk up to these podcasts on this day, you will be in my power. Donate today, and happy Halloween.
Thank you, DG.
Thank you, DG. I couldn't have said it better myself.
There's
DG
a lot of
is doggone good.
There's a lot of things that can happen in 18 minutes. So who knows? I guess, are there any, again, this is before my time. Are there any educated guesses about what was in there?
You too. Et tu, Brute. Making fun of how old I am.
I'm simply asking a question.
Get RFM night or something?
I guess. What is the best guess? Is there a theory about what's in those 18 minutes?
Well, the AI overview, which may be able to be correct on this part, but it's the 18-minute gap in a June 20th, 1972 Watergate tape. Conversation between President Nixon and his chief of staff, Bob Haldeman.
Yeah.
Yeah. The explanation of oops was widely considered preposterous.
And it was that side that did the deleting. It was the Nixon side of things that did the deleting. It wasn't the other side.
Yes, they had to produce them in response to subpoenas and a lot of pressure and all sorts of stuff that was going on.
Yeah.
And I'm not really qualified to say everything that was going on. At the end of the movie, All the President's Men, they summarize it all by having these little teletype headlines come through that are days and weeks and months apart until finally Nixon resigns. I think the teletype right before Nixon resigns was a month earlier or a week earlier, whatever it was, saying Nixon says he will never resign. And then the final one being Nixon resigns. And that's how the movie ends. So they compress all that stuff into the end of the movie so that they can have the breaking of the story, which started those dominoes tumbling, be what the movie was about.
Gotcha. Okay. Wendy Miller, how are you doing?
Oh, hi.
Hi there, Wendy.
Well, when I left the church, I lost the Holy Ghost, and now I have the Holy Bird on my head, chirping.
It looks very nice.
Chirping.
It looks like it has a little hat.
It does. It's actually well, I have my Halloween. It says Nevermore. And so it's really the Raven, Once Upon a Midnight Jury, the poem, Edgar Allan Poe.
I've heard of that one. All 18 stanzas. Yeah. I memorized it once.
It's very lyrical. It's very fun to read. And I think back in the day, I think we had to memorize part of that poem as part of some English class. I don't know.
Well, the first stanza is famous. The one you just started.
Yes. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore. Anyway, the Raven comes into his bedchamber, and the only word the Raven can say is nevermore. So, for all the youngins out there who don't know about Edgar Allan Poe,
you stopped it as I nodded, nearly napping. Suddenly there came a rapping as of someone gently tapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door, merely to say nothing more. Maybe that's what the end of the first one. No. And then the next one is odd distinct. The second verse, the beginning, is really beautiful. "Odd distinctly I remember, it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor."
Do you have a photographic memory, RFM?
I may as well just say yes, because I'm getting tired of denying it by this point, folks.
Because
I struggled hard to memorize things.
I've been listening to ex-Mormon podcasts now for like 5 years. My therapist thinks I should stop because I just keep getting more and more. Am I allowed to swear?
Yes.
I just continue to get more fucking furious about what happened to me in the church and, disastrous marriage. And, back in the 1970s, there were no divorces. They told you absolutely don't even think about it. So, just have babies and blah, blah, blah. And do you ever think about, do you guys interview people? Because I have a story that I could not make up. But
Bill does
anyway,
sometimes. Bill, you interview people sometimes, don't you?
I rarely interview people, but
You do
RFM
sometimes. That's why I said sometimes. I didn't say all the time.
every once in a while.
See?
I'm pretty creative, but I couldn't make it up, Anyway, but I don't want to talk about that. But in a little bit, I do actually want to talk about it because I had 4 children and I lost 2 of them actually in pretty tragic ways. And I won't go into it tonight. But you all were asking for supernatural experiences, that kind of thing for stories tonight.
Sure.
And so I have had so many instances of things that have happened to me that I feel are connected to losing they were adults when my son was 32 and my daughter was 30. And I spent a couple years in shock and in bed actually, because and I had electroconvulsive therapy. I've had ketamine treatments. I've had every kind of treatment to relieve the things that have happened. And but when I came up for air and decided I needed to join life again, I just started having what I cannot explain. I can't explain it. It's just other people might call them coincidences, and maybe so, but I have found it to be very healing. And if you want, do you want a couple examples, I guess?
Sure.
Well, I think that I don't know that there is life after death, but I really believe your soul is living on. And my 2 kids are really good at grabbing energy. And my speaker, my Bluetooth speaker connected, my sound bar will just suddenly start blasting music, or a Mexican radio station is just I don't even have anything playing, but it's my cuckoo clock weighs 30 pounds. It's back here on the wall. It fell off one day and nearly killed me and my cat. And it's usually on days where I'm, remembering my children, either their birthdays or the anniversaries of their deaths. And so I was in Hawaii once, and I was so taken by the beauty of Kauai that I just started sobbing. And I started to think, oh my God, I wish my children would have lived to have been able to come to Kauai. And I called my sister in California from Hawaii, and I just said, I'm just bawling my head off because I'm so upset. And later that day, I had a boyfriend at that time. We went to get us look for something like a skin guard. Sorry, I'm going all over the place. But I was walking across the parking lot. It was a gravel parking lot to a thrift store on Kauai. And I looked down, and there was a chunk of some kind of terracotta, not quite concrete. And I looked down and I picked it up, and on it was imprinted MOM. And I thought, what? It's Mom, what? It's printed, and I brought it somewhere in my piles of stuff. But it was no, Mom, we are here. We can see what you're seeing. and we know how beautiful it is. And so, like, we know you're sad, but we're around. So I have found a lot of objects over the years, and also one of the first couple of years after they died 18 months apart. And I wouldn't wish this on any mother or any parent. I honestly, I was very lucky because my son left a letter. He had been sent on a mission to Russia back in the late 1990s, 96 to 98. And I had never had such the most horrible argument with my now ex-husband, on the day we had to take our son to the MTC. And I just said, do you not see a terrified young man who does not want to go on a mission, should not go on a mission? And he's almost paralyzed. And you know, they don't just send anybody to Russia, right? And my son had studied Latin in high school, and he was extremely smart, but he was extremely sensitive. And I didn't realize now that he had OCD and he had depression, and the mission to Russia was the start of the spiraling, and he never came out of it. But why am I? But you know, the attitude was you're going on that mission, whether you want to or else. And so he went. But what was my point? Oh shit, you know, I'm 70 years old.
Going on a mission to Russia.
Yeah. Thank you for helping me.
Started the
here.
depression.
Yeah. And so one day I had seen my psychiatrist in San Diego. And you know, after 12 years with this man, and he knew all about my history and the abusive marriage. And by the way, my ex-husband was a bishop. And my psychiatrist said to me, you know what, Wendy, I don't think anyone has ever loved you. And I'm like, oh, wow. And I just stood up. I went out to my car. This is in the fall in San Diego. It was at night. And I got in my car. I started bawling, and I drove ahead, and I noticed something was on the hood of my car. Something was stuck on the hood of my car. I got out. I looked at the hood of my car. It was a maple leaf, or sycamore leaf, probably sycamore leaf. It was stuck on the hood of my car like someone had glued it. And I thought, what? My son, when he died, we had used the sycamore leaf and leaf motif on his memorial. And in his scrapbook that my daughter made me of from when he was a baby till through his mission, it was all leaf. And I just thought, you know what, Mom? Like, this is a sign. We love you. I have loved you. And here is a leaf just stuck to the hood of my car. I was like someone had taken and just glued it with super glue. And I just thought, you know, these are the little things that give me hope that, you know what, my kids aren't suffering anymore.
Yeah.
And I would never bring them back if I even had the power to, because they had suffered so much at the hands of their father. And I know this sounds like let's blame my ex-husband. But when you have a narcissistic personality disorder, which the psychiatrist told me, you know, you're gonna die early if you don't leave this marriage, you know. And so I finally did after 25 years, and I left the church, and I wasn't a great member anyway. I tried, but yeah, I get these little signs from my kids, and I think the most eerie thing that ever happened to me, I went up to the Western Sierras in California, and it's where I spent the happiest childhood. memories up there in the summers. And I wanted to go back. I hadn't been back in like 20 years, 25 years. And so I went to the camp we used to stay at with a bunch of Mormon families from the Long Beach State area. And I went into the mess hall. And I was showing the man I was dating at the time, I was showing him, telling him all about these wonderful memories and this and that. I come out of the mess hall, and right at my feet are two very large black feathers. I had just stepped over the threshold and they weren't there. And when I walked out, they were at my feet. And I thought, oh, wow, I know those feathers weren't there. And I told my boyfriend, did you see these two feathers on the ground? And he's like, no. And so I just picked them up. I had a good cry. And later that day, we were on the creek, sunbathing and just, beautiful pools of water. And I looked up, I heard this rushing. You know how in the Bible, it's like the rushing wind and the waters. Yeah.
Yeah. Acts chapter 2.
You're so smart. I just love how smart you guys are.
I'm an insufferable show off. Ask anyone.
No, seriously. I love your show so much. But look, back to the story, and I'll stop talking. I heard this. So I had found these two long black, like, I don't know if they were crows or ravens, feathers. One for each child, right? We're on the creek. The sun's going down. We're like, we got to hike back up, get back to camp, to our cabin. And I hear this rushing sound. And I looked up, and right over the creek, right over our heads, this, I guess, murder of crows, right? Just comes, just swooshing down this creek. And it was, the sound of it was like this, like thunderous, and I'm just like, what other sign do I need? The feathers, and then this murder, this just huge flock of ravens causing this, like, the rushing of the wind and the water. And I just thought, I'll take it, because a mother never, I don't care when you lost your child, or children in my case, you never forget them. You grew them. I tried to protect them. I did everything I could. And I was simply outmaneuvered. And I fought when I could, and I tried to protect them when I could. And I know I was going to say, back to my son had gone on a mission. He did leave us a letter. And I find that letter to be of great comfort. And he told me in the letter that he knew he was loved. And he hung on longer than he wanted to. Because he didn't want to hurt us, but he needed to go. And my daughter had previously given up a child for adoption, and he just got married. He's 22. I just went up to Oregon just to his wedding. So you know what? There's been a lot of tragedy, but there's also been many silver linings, and where I've had what I feel are supernatural experiences.
Wendy, I want to thank you for sharing these stories with us. I am glad that your children are able to communicate with you by giving you these signs.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they're happy. I believe they're at peace and they're happy.
You know what? I know that, and I'm sad, but now I have 3 granddaughters who or have been in Paris for 7 years and they're coming back. Yay. You know, I have a lot of joy in my life, and I never thought I would feel joy again. And am I angry? Yeah, I'm really angry. At the church, mostly the priest, you know, the patriarchy and men making all the decisions. But you know what? I've learned a lot, and I don't know why I don't want to learn anything more. You know, like please, I don't want to. So, but yeah, I also want to give hope to people that you know, listen and pay attention when there's someone who's hurting or have silent illnesses that aren't really apparent, because you know, I'll just say the suicide rates, they're increasing, and you know, there's help out there, and you know, if you're in a type of relationship where the power differential is enormous, get out. And back in my day, you know, with Spencer W. Kimball, right? And you know, there was just no hope of leaving. And yeah, but I did leave, and I'm proud of myself, and I'm proud of all my other children, as my two surviving children. It really it's been hard on them to lose their siblings.
Sure.
And you know, but you guys, I just wait for a new episode, and I laugh. You guys are so funny, and I think you guys are like the yin and yang, right, of your personalities, and you just have a delightful platform. I really, really, I can't believe I got on, because I'm not very techie. But anyway, I guess.
But you made it. Are you in the live chat as well? Do you show up in the live chat?
I don't know.
Do you know we've got a lot of fun people in the live chat? Do you know how to get in there? They're like a family away from family.
I'm surprised I got in this the studio room or whatever it is. Yeah. So
Hey, Bill, can you tell Wendy how to get into the live chat? Because honestly, this is a bunch of people. This is the family that these people choose to hang out with on a regular basis.
Yeah. So first off, Wendy, you've been through a hard thing, harder than anything I've ever been through. And my heart goes out to you, and I can tell that it's still heavy and it hurts.
Yeah.
So my heart goes out to you. And in terms of joining the live chat, I think it's either going to be right below. There should be in the like comment section of YouTube, there should be a thing that you can turn on the live chat, and it'll show up on the right side of the screen. I'm pointing to my left, so I think it should be having pointing to the right.
Okay.
On the right side of the screen, and there's 100 people there who are commenting with each other, and it's community unto itself. So
yeah. Well, the next time you guys have something like I think a couple months ago you guys came to Salt Lake, or maybe it was St. George.
Yes.
I don't remember.
Yes.
But I'm like, well, I could get in my car and drive there, because it really would be fun to take part. Took me a long time to find a next Mormon community.
Well, I'm glad you found this one, because this one rocks.
Yeah, it does. And you're so funny. And I do get some of those references that you make, because I was born in 1954. So anyway.
You too. Oh my gosh, everybody is razzing RFM tonight about how old he is.
Well, I'm older than you are, so you know, I'm telling on myself. But thank you for having me.
Thank you
for joining us, Wendy.
I just really appreciate your work, because you guys are you're so intelligent, and you just make all these different subjects make sense, you know.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank you
Wendy.
for listening to my story. I know it was, you know.
Absolutely.
Yes.
More.
Happy Halloween.
All right. Thank you.
All right. See you later.
Okay.
Oops, sorry. Got her before
Nevermore. I'm not sure what she was.
Probably was. Quote the Raven, nevermore. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. You know, after knowing the end from I didn't know where she was going at all. None of us did, I think.
You're not going to believe
now that we're at the end of that entire story that she told. The way she started out suddenly seems more ominous.
Yeah, some human beings have been through really hard things, and also whether it's people, she spoke about her ex-husband. She spoke about the influence the church had. And it really hits home that you can really affect people by how you treat them. You can really hurt people. Yeah. Anyway, you're not going to believe who we have in the live chat. It's Jeff Torborg, the former manager of the Texas Ranger. Oh, no, it's the Utah Utes.
Troy Breyer, are you a famous athlete or something?
I'm not a famous athlete.
Oh,
I'm just
was hoping you were
a
a famous
fan. I'm trying to
athlete.
be a Utah man. I am.
Troy, how are you doing?
I'm doing well.
It
I
looks
live
like
in
you're
Dallas,
outside
Texas.
during the day, but you can't be. Where are you?
Where am I at? I'm in Park City, Utah right now.
You're indoors. Oh, is that a glass of wine I see before me, the handle toward my hand?
It is. I mean, Jesus would have been the master winemaker, right?
He would have been. And that part is kind of in the Bible there in the Gospel of John, and Mormons really don't know what to do with it, but yes, he did like the wine. Uh-oh. What did you do to Troy, Waldo?
I didn't do anything to Troy. I don't know what happened. I'm going to take him off because I think we have Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman, how are you?
Good. I actually don't have any crazy, scary stories to tell. I moved to the US when I was 20, so I did 1 year of trick or treating because I grew up watching movies of seeing kids trick or treating. So
Okay, this is starting to freak me out. Someone is offing our guest.
It is not me, and it's their cameras are going out. So, Gabby, will you come back in? And also, what was the other person's name?
I think it was some guy out there. It was Troy.
Gabby and Troy
McClure.
back. I'm going to put this link back in the chat. Maybe StreamYard is having
some guy out there. Some guy out there beneath the pale moonlight. Here you go.
Oh, I'm on stage. What's up, everybody?
No, you're not Troy, are you?
You're not Troy.
No, sorry. I was popping in and out of the backstage. I was wanting to make sure my audio was coming through my AirPods.
Something's happening. It's Halloween night and things are not quite working well.
You may not belong for this world. Some guy out there.
Can you hear me?
I do.
Yes, we can hear you for now.
Okay. Was it breaking up?
Not while you're on screen. No.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Cool. So
we'll be right with
you.
Came back.
I was trick-or-treating with the kids, so I missed most of this segment, but I did catch wind that you guys were telling some spooky stories. Is that right?
Yes, it's Halloween.
Okay. So I've got one for you. Still to this day, I'm not quite sure what to make of it, so maybe you guys can help me out. So it was 20 years ago.
On a night just like tonight.
Yes, you took the words right out of my mouth. That's exactly what I was going to say. So I was on my mission 20 years ago. I was in Taiwan, and so yeah, hopefully the SCMC's narrowing it down now. Who was there 20 years ago? No, just kidding. So we're tracting, and we knock on this door, and every door there has like a pretty thick reinforced screen doors is what we would call it here, but some of them you can kind of see through them. And we knocked into this door, and it was all dark. We could see in there, and that was odd because normally when someone opens their interior door, it's all lit up. And so my companion and I, we looked at each other like, what the heck? Like, is someone there? And then we said, hello. And then this lady opened up the door, and she started saying, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you guys are here. I've been having some supernatural stuff happen. And it wasn't a word that I had learned. I just, at that point, I'd been out there a while, and it's a direct translation, supernatural. And so I thought, what the heck? And she said, can you guys, and I'll note that as this was happening, I looked over her shoulder and I saw a man walking down the hall, and she had mentioned, "Hey, can you guys come in and bless our home? This stuff's just been weird and I'm scared." And so we went in there, and we sat down, we started talking for a minute, and I'll describe to you the man that I saw in the hall. He it looked as real as a person as I would expect. He had on what, I know wife beater's not politically correct, but he had one of those tank top shirts on. If someone has a better name, let me know.
One of the new garments.
One of the garments, exactly. He had that on, basketball shorts and sandals, and it was a little bit more heavy set. So we sit down, we talk to this lady for a minute, and I said, "Hey, would you like that guy to come join us?" And she gets this really scared look on her face. What guy? And putting two and two together, with her saying, "Yeah, I'm experiencing some supernatural stuff." I didn't make a big deal of it, but in my mind, I'm thinking, there's someone else home in this house. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to go in there. For those of you that serve missions, you know that's the rule. You can't go into a single woman.
I was about to ask you if that's why you made a point of talking about the fact you saw a man in there before you went in.
Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Oh, I switched off from my
Can you-
Bluetooth. But
Can you
yeah,
hear me now?
I can hear you guys. So they, let's see, where did it leave off here? So she gets
There's
this
someone else
really
in the
scared
house.
look on her face,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking in my head, well, we couldn't have come in here unless there was this other guy in there.
Yeah.
And so at that point, I didn't try to make a big deal of it. I just, we kind of tried to hurry it up and wrap it up. And we extended some kind of invite to her for us to meet again. She accepted. And fast forward a couple weeks, she's progressing. She's come to church. And I went home that night and I wrote it in my journal. I saw a guy in that hallway, and she said there was no one home. And I detailed it out, and I finally got the guts, because I didn't want to blow it. I didn't want to bring up like all this supernatural stuff to her and scare her again, because she seemed like she was progressing. I finally got the guts to bring it up to her, and I said, like, "Oh, hey, by the way, that first night, was that like your boyfriend or someone was home?" And she again got this really scared look on her face. She's like, "No, like I'm single." And to this day, I don't know what to make of that. I don't know if I legit saw a ghost, or, maybe my rational brain would think maybe she was having an affair or something, and some guy was over and shouldn't have been, and she was for some reason trying to keep that under wraps. But I think I saw a ghost.
Interesting. I'll tell you this much. I've got some of those stories, not that I've had those experiences, but I've got people that I care about, I trust, and they've had experiences very similar where they've seen more than one person in a home, saw a little girl walk through the house that did not belong in that house. So I've had strange things be told to me that come from sources I trust. So I think you saw a ghost, my friend.
Yeah. I don't
Hopefully
know.
it wasn't a burglar who had successfully avoided her attention.
Exactly. If she hadn't have mentioned the whole she's having supernatural stuff, I probably never would have thought twice. But
yes,
putting the two and two together, it was weird.
It is
But
weird.
that's,
I understand that. Let me see here. Sandals, basketball shorts, and wife beaters are what the stylish ghost is wearing this year.
yeah. And
Whatever happened to just wearing a sheet?
and it did look a little bit off, like not like totally see-through, but like just a tiny bit, little bit different, but like so close you'd never notice the difference. And back at the time I thought, oh, well, that's why Joseph Smith has the whole handshake test, is because they're so real. That's how you got to figure them out.
It was a diaphanous wife beater.
Yeah. So
spooky. That's crazy.
Yeah. That's what I had for you guys today.
Were you
so glad that you shared it? I'm sorry, Waldo. What?
Were you in costume behind the camera?
I'm in dad costume. Sorry, I cheated.
You did cheat. All right, I'm gonna let
I
you.
knew he was cheating from the beginning. You can never trust some guy out there.
Yeah, some guy out there. Okay, thank you.
All
Sam.
right.
Have a great
Yeah,
night.
love you guys. So we'll see it.
Thank you. Bye bye. Happy Halloween. And
Yeah.
now,
Back.
Hello.
Hello.
I know exactly what happened. My kid called me, and that's how I ended up being kicked off.
Gotcha.
But as I was saying, I don't have any like crazy mystic story to tell. Besides I did trick-or-treating when I was 20 years old, and that was wild and awesome. And I love Mormonism after dark, and I especially love RFM.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I see we're dressed in the same color of red. I guess Bill
Yeah,
has a little red on too. But
I only put my costume on just to come in the studio. So
oh, I'm so glad. Do you have any like adventures with Superman you could share with us?
actually, I'm married to Batman. So here he
Oh
is.
my gosh.
How's
Can
it
you say
going?
it?
Hi.
I am
Because I'm Batman.
the Dark Knight. That's fantastic. Anytime
and
you want to
yeah.
get the truth out of that guy, you know, you just use your lasso, right?
Exactly, right here.
Yes. Just wrap him up in that and he'll tell you anything. Wow. Batman has an evil laugh. I didn't know
Just
that
like
about
yours, RFM.
Mm.
Well,
Oh my
awesome.
gosh.
Glad to have
Was that it, Gabby?
have some superheroes in the chat.
Yes.
I'm sorry,
We're all
what?
superheroes as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
Gabby?
Yeah.
Did you want to say something more? Or was
No,
that
that
everything
was
you
it.
wanted to say?
I don't have any crazy, scary stories to tell.
But you've got a costume, and that's the ticket to getting on the show, as we have proved over and over again tonight.
Okay, thanks for having me.
Have a
Thank
great
you, Gabby.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Happy Halloween.
Look at that. Wonder Woman and Batman.
But what happened to Roy or Troy?
It obviously
Troy McClure. Where is he?
It obviously wasn't a long band of things going wrong. So somehow he just vanished. But
Well, he had that wine glass in his hand. Michael Myers is here too. Director from his engagement.
Ned, are you wearing a costume, Ned?
Yeah, that's his Green Lantern costume.
I am the Green Lantern.
In brightest day and blackest night.
Yes. Do you know the oath by any chance?
In brightest day and blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power, Green Lantern's light. Duh.
Oh, the power ring knows all. Yes.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I read a few Green Lantern comics when I was a kid.
Yeah, I was. I'm still a big fan, and against.
Wait, did you like the movie? Are you the one person who liked that movie with Ryan Reynolds in it, the Green Lantern movie?
No, it was less than ideal, moving on very poor. They could have done a great big job with him and make him a good character, but I guess somebody in produce up there didn't want that, and it didn't happen.
So basically, it was your average DC movie.
Yeah, exactly. I say that's the truth. Good.
What do you think of Bill Reel's costume tonight, Ned?
I don't know if I understand what it is.
It's a Where's Waldo costume. There are these images in books that were famous back in like the 90s where Waldo is hidden in the image and you have to try to find him. And so for folks who were looking at that image, he's right there. There he is.
Good for kids.
Interesting.
Yeah. So where's Waldo?
Right there.
These were big, like in the early 90s, late 80s, maybe.
I think I look like Waldo, you know? I think I've got sort of the same head shape, same hair, you know, the hat off to the side. I think I'm
Now,
like
if you lose the hat and give yourself a lightning-shaped scar on your forehead,
There you go. That
then
sounds
who
good.
would you be?
I don't know.
You don't really. The boy who lived?
How about the boy in the bubble?
Perfect. What would they say if we up and ran away? Whoa, look out.
Ned, what's on your mind, my friend? Do you have a story for Halloween?
Well, as a matter of fact, I do. Some time ago, when I was living in Boise, Idaho, I had a series of what they call visions, I guess, of shadow people. Darkness that just walks by at a relatively slow pace, and you turn to look at them, and they're gone. And it happened for several months, several times a day. And over a while, I became spooked. It was kind of,
After a while, it would take me once.
I think George Norrie on AM radio.
Yeah, the guy who took over from Art Bell.
That's right. I think he's talked about that a couple of times. But it's happened a few times, and I was not happy with that.
Was this restricted to one location?
Yes, it was. I had my profession was a dental laboratory technician, and I had a 3-car deep garage, and I sawed off one section of it. No, I framed it in and made a little dental laboratory in there, and they would come in the back of me. And all of a sudden, I could see the shadow coming, and I looked, and it would disappear. It happened for several months. I could see it at least 2 or 3 times a day, and I don't recommend it.
This was a while ago.
Oh yeah, this is probably 5-6 years ago. Haven't had anything recently, thank goodness.
So I'm guessing these are not the kind of shadows that one sees that some doctors diagnose as a precursor to possible brain cancer.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, just thought I'd give you a Halloween chill.
Oh, thank you. I feel so much better now. Where are my meds? I know I was on a couple of weeks ago and I kind of messed up. They changed some of the meds because I got PTSD from Vietnam. And so they changed some of my meds and some of my thinking processes, and putting phrases and thoughts together were less than ideal. But I'm doing considerably better now. Thank goodness.
You do great. At least now. I don't know about then, but you do fine now.
Oh, that's good. So I think the Green Lantern is a great part of Halloween that's fun. A lot of people take the evil part of it. I don't think that we need to do that. We had a bunch of little kids come. That's why I'm on kind of late, because I was waiting for all the kids to come through. And we did that. And there was
Where are they now, Ned? That's what I want to know.
What now?
The kids who came through, where are they now?
I assume they went back home.
Wow.
No, not the vampire. No,
that's a good story.
I know that you've seen shadow people while you've been awake, conscious. It's not like you're in dream state, but
right.
I used to have night terrors. I used to have night terrors all the time when I was back in Ohio, and I would wake up. I'd have a dream, and my nightmares were always, if my eyes were open, it would be that point of view of the room. So when I actually do wake up in the dream, I'm seeing the room in my house from the exact same angle that I was having the dream from. And numerous times I'd wake up and there would be someone standing there. I could swear to God there's a person standing there. And I would grab a blanket to throw on them, ready that if I saw sort of a shape stay in the blanket, I would tackle that son of a bitch to the ground and beat his ass. But I'm having somebody in the room, but every time the blanket would fall on the ground, and it obviously was just something in my dreams. But my dreams were, the nightmares were so real. The person scaring the hell out of me were in my room and standing there in physical form, and waking up from sleep to consciousness multiple times. I had to take a half an hour, 45 minutes to sort out what reality was.
Trauma dreams. I've had that, and about 2 years ago, they put me on a medication called Prazolam.
Yeah.
Zero trauma nightmares.
Can I tell you my secret?
No.
As soon as I left the church, as soon as I was outside the church, they disappeared. I don't have dreams at all anymore.
Really?
Yep. As soon as you leave the trauma too, gone.
It's interesting. I hadn't heard about that.
Well, thank you.
How long did these occurrences happen of shadow people? You're seeing them to the side, and then you look more directly, and they're gone.
That's correct.
How long did that go on?
Yeah, it probably went on for like 2 or 3 months. It would happen daily, 2 or 3 times a day. And I would just, sometimes it would be so frequent, I would just sit there and wait for them to come so I could focus in and see if I could actually see who they were or what was going on.
Did you ever try to communicate with them?
No, because the time span was so short. It was only like maybe 2, 3, 4 seconds at the most. So
what do you think about them?
I think there's another world that's outside of this one. That what do you think?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I'm just hearing this for the first time. This is something that you've been living with for a long time.
Oh,
It
you
happened
haven't?
to you. You actually got to see it. And so I'm wondering what it is that you make of it.
Yeah, I think they're beings from either another dimension or the spirit world, as the LDS people would call it.
I've got a question. So there's certain things in my world where if I see it out of the corner of my eye, it's a different color, green, for instance, instead of yellow. What is it that assures you or makes sense to you that it's just not an anomaly out of the corner of your eye, that your brain in the corners of your eye does take the data in differently versus being an actual personage that's off to the side?
Well, it's real dark gray, if not black. And when I see it, it blocks out what's behind it. You know, like that? Just like that.
Stop in the name of love.
Never like that. And it would just go whoosh, right across the screen.
Well,
Just
thank you, Ned. Thank you for the scary story. I'll now have night terrors again.
No,
That's
take
weird.
Prazolam. It works. It works. Effective medication. Well, I appreciate you having me on.
Take it
Thanks
easy.
for calling in, Ned. Happy Halloween to you.
Halloween.
You too, sir.
I understand that medication is an antipsychotic, the one that Ned's on. Is that true?
Yeah, I would love to know the situation that got prescribed to him. Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
sorry. I'm kidding, because he told us the name of it. I have no idea. It's probably not an antipsychotic.
At least he's not going steady with Joseph Smith.
You say that like it's a bad thing. Mr. Judgy McJudgerson.
He doesn't like our show, and we don't like Michael Myers. I'm getting
They have a little kid though too, right?
Michael Myers.
I think so.
Hello.
No, they don't.
Well, I don't know what the hell is going on there.
I think Jamie Lee Curtis finally got him for the
Hi.
final time. No Molly Sphere. How are you doing?
Good. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yes. What
Oh,
a fun
God.
Halloween hat you have on. Now,
Yes.
you have the same thing going on, and it was what was going on with Troy before he disappeared, and no one has
Hopefully
seen him
not.
since, by
I
the
came
way.
on my computer. I was in the live chat and I had said a spooky story while some guy was talking about his mission experience. For my experience with going out with the sister missionaries as a college student. And I was like, well, let me see if I can get in here and I'll just tell it live instead of typing
Okay, great.
it all out.
Great.
Okay, so this is it's somewhere between 2005 and 2007 in Orlando, Florida, when I was attending the University of Central Florida. Go Knights. I'm going to swear anyway. Fuck BYU. UCF's going to kick your ass this year. I said it. Deal with that, Trevor.
Wow.
Yeah, hatred. Major hatred for BYU. But I was in the singles ward. This was when they were trying to make us all go out, to go on mission splits and things like that. The sister missionaries had contacted a woman who was literally 2 blocks from my college apartment. They asked me to come, and I was like, all right, I don't have to work today. I'll come with you. They said, oh, she's a Haitian immigrant. She's brand new, just moved into the area. She sought us out. I said, okay, let's go. This is a normal area.
Was she eating cats and dogs? Was
no, remember, this is 2005 to 2007. So no, there was not that happening.
I don't know. You
You're
can
right,
dress
I
him
don't
up.
know. But I did find out that she was a voodoo practitioner.
Hey, there's a shocker. Didn't see that one coming.
I know, right? But she had actually contacted the sisters. I found this out when we went to her house under false pretenses.
Yes.
Hi, live chat. I see the comments. Because she was going to try to kidnap them and sacrifice them. And
Okay, wait a second.
Yes.
Their Haitian investigator was going to kidnap these sister missionaries and sacrifice them.
Yes.
Why didn't she?
Because I rolled up. That's why. So when we went to the house, they had said all this. She was new and she was needing help. And I said, okay, that sounds great. She's in a normal neighborhood.
That's my second wife right there.
Yes.
I know her anywhere.
Now, I will preface this by saying I'm born and raised in New Hampshire. All my friends, all of us, I lived in a haunted house. Everybody had haunted houses where we lived. So I wasn't.
I'm sorry. No Molly's favorite. Bill is busy fetishizing.
I know. I love it. I didn't call myself this at the time, but now in my older age, I'm like, I guess I would say I was slightly psychic, not the full I see dead people, but I had a lot of paranormal experiences, which I just considered normal because it's New England and that's
because you're from New Hampshire.
Yes, it's a thing. It's just a thing. You know, everyone's got a ghost. Everyone's got at least 1 or 2 house ghosts. Who cares? When I walked up to her house, the sisters went in first and she stood in the door and just kind of stared at me. I couldn't physically cross the threshold to start. It felt like I was walking through a cement wall. I'd only ever had this happen once in my life in one of my friends' they had torn down a wall in their old farmhouse, discovered a room, and it was actually, there was some not so good things hidden behind a wall in that room, and it was very dark. And so that was like
what things were hidden behind the wall? I've only had this experience once in my life too. It's when I was trying to walk through a concrete wall.
I did not know what it was called at the time because this is pre-YouTube and all these things, but I now know it's what would be called a Dybbuk box. If people in the chat knows what those are basically like sealed boxes, occult kind of style. You seal a lot of like usually very evil objects get sealed in them, or you could bind.
What is an evil object?
What was the evil object? I don't know. It's people. There are different types of Dybbuk boxes. If you go on YouTube, there are some certain channels who will open Dybbuk boxes and release Dybbuk. DYBBUK, I think is how you spell it. Dybbuk.
Exactly how I would have spelled it. DYBB.
Okay, I'm seeing people that know Dybbuk boxes. No. Yes,
they're like something they have over
it's Jewish tradition, I think. Yes.
A Dybbuk is a malicious or benevolent possessing spirit from Jewish folklore. This says.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Yeah.
In a box. Hang on a second.
A box.
Searching the Dybbuk box. Here we go. Antique wine cabinet claimed to be haunted by a Dybbuk, a concept from Jewish mythology.
October.
I'm sorry, what?
The movie Major League with Charlie Sheen. I don't know the other gentleman's name.
That's the only Charlie Sheen movie I haven't seen.
Yeah, you should see it. The Cleveland Indians are winners for once.
Winning.
I was gonna say winning. Anyway, for me, if I encounter, and it still is true to this day, if I encounter an evil spirit that doesn't want me to be around them, because I guess I will just say it, I do have that power to send them to which one of the lights. They're not going to get to pick. I'm just going to get rid of you. They will try to keep me from entering their space, and to me, it feels like I'm walking into a brick wall, kind of an idea. Yeah. I did not understand this at my young age in my early 20s. I was not because I was still heavily Mormon. This wasn't something I was researching. Now that I'm out of the church, this is stuff that I've researched more and have started to understand in my sort of occult pagan lifestyle now. But when we walked into her house, I couldn't really walk in. I really had to force myself in because it felt very dark and heavy. As we were sitting there, she had her back to a room, and the sister missionaries, this was like 4 p.m, and her window in that room could faced west. So the sunlight was streaming in. All I saw was pitch dark. So I was making the sister missionaries describe to me what they were seeing in the room because I was not seeing that. I was seeing dark. The dark was starting to come in. It actually started to get very dark in the room that we were in. And that's when I said, all right, we're done. I don't know what your intentions are. These girls are here trying to serve the Lord. But basically, I can tell that you are not somebody who's a good person. You do not care about learning about the gospel of Jesus Christ at all. So we're leaving. And that's when she tried to physically stop us from leaving. And because I'm an East Coast girl and I don't take that shit, I knocked her out and pushed.
Did you really knock her out? Did you cold cock her?
Yes, I did.
Oh, good job.
You're not
Bravo.
going to stop me from leaving.
Yeah.
No way.
I don't care.
No one has a right to stop me from leaving a space that I want to leave.
Exactly.
Nobody puts no
I
Molly
told
spear in the
her
corner.
one morning, I said, get out of my way or you're not going to like what happens. And that's when she tried to start chanting and I punched her in the throat. So she couldn't chant anymore. And then I kicked her down and I stepped over her, opened the door, and I grabbed the sister missionaries, threw them out the house and walked out. One of her boyfriends came running out of that back room that had started to get dark, and he was trying to do something and he was threatening to call the cops. And I said, do it. I said, you're next.
You're next. Maybe that was
They
that
were
guy. The other
scared,
one.
so
the
then
other
they
person
locked
saw.
the door, and nothing ever. I'm like, where? You don't know my name. You don't know where I live. What are you gonna do? I don't care. This is able to cell phone record anything. What are you gonna do? Orange County cops aren't gonna show up that fast. I'm gonna be gone before you even know what's up. So we left, and I found out a week later that the sister missionaries were trying to go back because their mission president told them the way I had behaved was inappropriate as a disciple of Jesus Christ, and they should go back. And so I called them, and I will repeat verbatim what I said because then I called their mission president and my stake president. And I told them all the same thing. So this is what it was. Fuck you. They tried to kidnap these girls. If you go back in that house, you're on your own. I'm not going to call your parents to let them know that you're dead and or have been taken. If you're going to be stupid and not pay attention to what's going on around you, you deserve everything you get. I told the mission president he sucks and he's not a good mission president if he's going to allow his missionaries to get kidnapped. I told the stake president, fuck you, basically. What are you going to do about it? I'm not in doubt. I wasn't at the time. I was young.
Was this in the context of some kind of disciplinary proceeding?
They wanted to, and I was like, what are you going to do? I'm not endowed. I don't care. I'm not getting married anytime soon. I'm still not married. I'm still a single person. What were you going to do? What are you going to do? And they're like, okay, you can't take the sacrament. I said, okay, I'm not paying tithing. I can play this game for however long you say I can't take the sacrament. I won't pay tithing. But then I sat there the next few Sundays because they said I couldn't take the sacrament for a month. They would still pass it to my row and I would pick it up and I'd hold it up from the back row and I'd put it in my mouth anyway.
Have you always listened to that inner gut thing, or was there a moment?
Yeah. No, I've always been discernment was taught to me from a very young age. I actually grew up in a ward that I later found out had an active pedophile in it. He never came after me or my sister or any of our little friends. But I did find out a couple families he did affect, and these were families my mother would not let us associate with. She was very much a follow us around the building. You don't get to go anywhere by yourself kind of a thing. And, we don't play with that crap. But yes, I was always you try to stop me from doing anything, I'm just going to throw hands and we're going to deal with it. Sorry, I kicked my table.
Well, that's got to be the best response to, you can't take the sacrament. Okay, I'm not paying tithing.
It was kind of funny because they were trying to fund a missionary at the time. She was developmentally disabled. This is when I learned about service missions. And they were my YSA ward was funding her on a service mission in Georgia. So she could somehow serve a mission, but I was like, she doesn't need to. She's, mentally disabled, not physically, but she definitely had a lot of learning disabilities. And I felt like they were kind of taking advantage of her. And I tried to tell her not to go. I was one of the people who's like, you don't need to go, because I was still under that impression, from back in the day of how like people with mental disorders or physical handicaps, they don't need to do all these extra things in the church because they're considered more, I don't want to say pure, but like they were already on a higher level of that spirituality, you know, that whole thing about
Oh yeah,
like
absolutely.
you don't,
They're
that's
the
why you
most
don't have to
righteous
give
in the
those,
premortal existence before they
yes,
used
like
to
you
not
don't
be.
have to give them the like men who were, you know, any kind of disabled in physical or mental ability, they didn't have to get the priesthood because they were already above such things,
Right.
you know, or they can't achieve that level of whatever that sacrifice is in the under the gospel law. And I feel like I'm butchering those terms, but that whole thing. So I was like, don't go on this service mission. I feel like they're going to take advantage of you. You shouldn't have to pay, especially if it's you're not doing a proselytizing mission, you're doing a service mission. Why are you paying? So that was also a thing. And again, these are just things my dumb 20-year-old brain.
I hear what you're saying. I mean, I'm glad they didn't take advantage of me on my mission.
I mean, I didn't serve a mission. I was like, I went from New Hampshire straight to Florida. I said, that is my mission. I'm here dealing with the heathens in the South. That's good enough.
Very good.
Is the
wow, you know, this has been an empowering Halloween story. I loved it. I didn't expect that from a possession.
Yeah,
scenario.
everybody, the message is if you whatever evil you're dealing with, physical, mental, throw hands. Just throw hands.
What's the hat have to do with? Is it a part of something?
It's a mushroom witch hat. No, I just because I'm in my witch PJs and I realized I wanted to adhere to the costume rule. I actually wore this to work yesterday and I had some face jewels on. I was the fentanyl witch.
Have you ever had those kind of mushrooms?
No, but I analyze them at work all the time.
They're the fentanyl witch? That sounds dangerous.
I was the fentanyl witch at work. I work for a crime lab, and I work with seized drugs.
Oh my gosh. Well, how appropriate.
It was my running joke that I was the fentanyl witch and I was running around with my lab coat going, I got what you want. You got this. Like, which, you know, all the vice detectives thought was hilarious. They're like, do we have to bust you? I was like, you could try.
Bill has found a picture, a recent photo of one of those sister missionaries that you saved. But apparently she went back into the apartment after all. And here's the photo. Do you have that, Bill?
Yeah, you can order her head for $22.99. It's 23% off right now.
I'm pretty sure she went back to Utah and got married, but she probably still ended up looking like that anyway. So good for her.
It's a tough life.
That's Sister Jones. It was tough on her. All right. Well, thank you very much. No Molly share.
No Molly's here. You know, like no Molly Mormons.
Oh, I was saying no Molly sphere because I was putting a P in there.
No Molly's here. Do you remember way back in the early 2000s when you had to create your LDS, essentially what is now LDS Tools, your LDS account?
No.
For your membership account? You do remember doing this so you could do family history and stuff?
Well, I probably didn't do a lot, but go ahead.
So basically, when we had to create these accounts, my old email address was piratewench318. And they did not want that as my username, even though that was my email address on my original adult LDS account. So I said, fine, if somebody made a joke, they're like, well, pirate wench, that's not a very Molly Mormon thing to say. I'm like, A, it's Florida, B, fuck you. So I just said, you know what? No Molly's here. There are no Molly's here. And that became my thing. And so that has been my username.
Oh.
Everything to deal with the Mormon church, it was no Molly's here the whole way through, which everybody who was not from Utah thought was hysterical. And anybody who was from Utah would get horribly offended, which that's why I did it, you know, to piss
What was it
off.
originally? Something about a pirate wench?
Yes, Pirate Wench 318 was my email address when I went to college.
My question about that username is why not 319?
318 is like March 18th because I'm a March Pisces baby. 18 is my favorite number, but also I like the number combo 666, and 18 divided by 3 is 6. So it's 3 6s. Get it? Like
naturally.
Yeah. It was my subtle way to do 666 without having to hear the whining from my Mormon parents at the time and all that other nonsense. So,
okay, well, but I won't even ask you about the pirate witch part.
That's because when I made it in 2003, Pirates of the Caribbean was super popular, and I mean it still is. I'm still a pirate wench at heart, but I mean, you know, you get a little older, you got to get a little slightly classier, just a little.
Well, that was a huge movie series.
Yes, it's the best. And I was in
Very
Florida.
popular. They really cocked up the Haunted Mansion, though, didn't they?
They really did. One of my college roommates, she worked on the scuba diving for the second and third movies.
Oh, on the Pirates.
In the Pirates franchise. My one of my roommates at UCF, because her family had a vacation house in the Bahamas, and she had her scuba diving license. Yeah, I just did that. You're welcome, everyone.
Gross. Did I mention this is live?
Yeah, I know.
Hey, Waldo, was that Scooby?
Hey, Scoobs, where are you going? We should hop in the mystery mobile. Row, Raggy, a roast.
So for a lot of the shots when it looked like they were really underwater, like walking on the bottom of the ocean, things like that, she was actually part of the dive team who would assist with the cameramen to keep them, basically to keep them safe, because she wasn't obviously a camera person, but because she's scuba trained and she was also an instructor, she'd been doing it for so long. They were hiring locals to essentially help keep the crew safe, and so she was. You know, anytime they were throwing actors or stunt people off the boats and things like that, she was down on the bottom to make sure that, you know, they could get back up safely or not get caught and things like that. So she worked on those films.
Wonderful. Well, that's exciting.
Well, I just want to say, we're going to let you go, but man, keep listening to that inner voice. It's doing you good.
Yes, everyone throw hands. Please throw hands in this day and age.
Right. Not enough hands being thrown.
Right and left hook. Just keep it up. And I'll always be in the chat because I love watching you guys.
Oh, thank you so much. I see you there all the time. I love your chat.
I gotta be weird sometimes. So now you know what my crazy face looks like.
I know. I love your chat and your hat.
Thank you. And I love your costumes. Good night, guys. Have fun. I'll keep watching.
Thank you very much.
Now I gotta tell you a little story, Snow FOMO. So I was a couple years ago, about 3 years ago, I was driving down the road and I wasn't paying attention. I was texting and driving, whatever. I end up rear-ending the car right in front of me. Okay. I get out. I want to handle it. I get out. I walk up to the front of the car, and it's a little person. And he said, "Do you know? Oh my God, I'm gonna f this up."
Well, it's okay. It sounds like a real story. No. Just remember what happened.
No, I remember it. I walk up. He goes, "I am not happy." And I said, "Which one are you then?" Little person, not happy. One of the 7 dwarves, because you're dressed like Snow White.
All of that within our comprehension. Bill, that was amazing. I thought you were going to say, "Ooh, you're an angry elf."
I blew it. But he said I was not happy. I thought, well, which one are you then? But
it worked. Anyway, I loved it.
I'm glad you loved it. Snow White, what are you thinking? You've got a look on your face like my joke was not politically correct and I'm in big trouble. Hello.
Okay, I cannot hear either of you guys.
You are so blessed.
That's a problem.
You are the luckiest person in this entire studio, in the entire live chat. Can you hear me? You can't even hear me. And she's doubly blessed.
She should have heard the show the entire time she was down there, and she didn't. Hey, if you start to be able to hear us, wave at us, and we'll bring you back on.
There's no FOMO.
But it's an issue on your end.
Well, that's like fear of missing out FOMO, right? Okay, so let's just try this. You want to try? We don't have anybody else to bring on, do we?
We don't, but she can't hear us, so this is not going to go well.
Okay. Can you hear us now? No. Can you write? Can you write something?
I could hear you before this started, and for some reason I cannot hear you coming through on here. Oh, this is such a bummer.
Well, tell your story. You can't hear me even say that.
Oh no.
Here. Hang on a second. Wait a second. Here we got something.
Let's see.
Your problem. Your problem.
I have some amazing stories to share as well.
No, tell them, please. Please.
We can hear you.
Oh.
We hear you.
Okay, let me go out and come back in if you're still going to be on there.
You can, okay.
Okay,
You can-
so I'm gonna come out and come back in with
Okay.
some AirPods in. Okay.
All right. There's no way to
I
stop
know
that.
you
I
hear
know.
me.
Just beginning ears.
Oh,
We'll be here.
Of course, it's always like
It's okay.
the damsel in distress.
I hope she's
God
not going to the
damn it.
bathroom.
Oh, well, it is Mormonism after dark, so
Does she know what's still on?
just a minute. They're out in my car. Just a second. I'll be back.
Oh.
I'll be back. Well,
She walked away from the computer and it turned off. What's that about?
how about in the meantime, I'll read a little story from Mormon history.
Would you?
It is. I will. I will. I was going to whether you liked it or not. So
I've been looking forward to this all night.
this is titled A Legion of Devils in Preston.
Oh,
This
yeah.
is-
I love this story.
England, 1837. The cobblestone streets of Preston were silent that night. Too silent. It had been 10 days since Mormon missionaries arrived. Fresh from the wide fields of America, their hearts full of zeal, and their feet sore from preaching. But nothing could have prepared them for what they would face behind the crooked windows of that boarding house on Wilfrid Street.
That preaching can be hard on the feet.
Elders Heber C. Kimball and Orson Hyde lay asleep upstairs, their room dark but calm until suddenly a pounding at the door. Elder Isaac Russell burst inside, wide-eyed, drenched in sweat, his face pale as moonlight. "Get up," he gasped. "Pray for me. Deliver me from the spirits. I feel I will die if you do not help me." Kimball shot up from the bed, Hyde beside him. They placed trembling hands on Russell's head to bless him, and then it happened. Something struck Elder Kimball. Not a blow of flesh and bone, but a force. A dark, crushing force, invisible and yet impossibly strong. Kimball was flung to the floor lifeless. Hyde barely caught him before his body hit the boards. Both Hyde and Russell, now terrified, called down the name of Jesus Christ with desperate, shaking voices, rebuking whatever dark entity had just attacked. Then the air changed. The room grew thick, pressed and cold, yet burning. And then a veil was lifted. Kimball, slowly walking from unconsciousness, blinked in terror as his eyes opened to a vision no mortal man should see. They were not alone. The walls were filled, crawling with shapes, dozens, hundreds, legions of dark figures were pressing in from corners of the room, not as smoke, not as shadow, but as men. Men twisted and consumed by hatred. Their mouths foamed, their teeth gnashed, their eyes burned with fury. They did not speak, yet their hatred was deafening. These were no hallucinations. These were devils. A demonic army summoned, it seemed, by the very preaching of the gospel on English soil. Kimball and Hyde could see them, hear them. For an hour and a half, the two apostles sat frozen, watching hell invade their chamber. Outside, the street remained silent. Inside, a war raged. The missionaries' bodies dripped with sweat as they prayed silently, breathlessly, not knowing whether death or deliverance would come first. "We could hear them," Kimball later wrote. "We could hear the spirits rage and foam out their shame." And then, just as the room had turned against them, it turned again. Gone. The devils fled. No scream, no wind, just absence. The silence that followed was heavier than the chaos. When the sun finally rose over the chimneys of Preston, Kimball lay in bed, limp and pale. His body was drained, his soul awakened. When he reported the encounter to the prophet Joseph Smith, Joseph did not mourn. He rejoiced. He told Kimball that such opposition was confirmation. The devil did not waste effort on idle souls. No, the adversary raged only when the truth was rising. When a person draws near to the Lord, Joseph said, a greater power will be manifested by the adversary. In other words, you know you're close to heaven when hell starts knocking. From that day forward, the missionaries of England walked with faith and a healthy fear of what walks unseen, and the devils never returned to that room on Wilford Street.
Or did they?
Dun, dun, dun.
2 hours is a long time for a vision, even of devils and hell. I think I would have gotten bored after the first 15 minutes. What do you think?
I don't. If it happened,
I mean, it's not like there's a storyline or a plot. Probably not a lot of character development going on.
If it happened as they said it happened, I would be scared as hell, and I would not be wanting to go to sleep. It would certainly keep my attention.
Okay.
Snow's FOMO.
I think I would have fallen asleep after the first half hour.
What do you have fear of missing out on, Snow's FOMO?
No, former Mormon.
Former Mormon, Bill.
Not the fear of missing out.
Couldn't you tell that? And every fool knows that.
Well, this fool didn't.
Yes.
Hello, Snow White. How are you doing this evening?
Well, I'm better now that I finally can hear you.
You didn't hear my joke either, did you?
No.
Oh, Lord.
I can tell it, and I can get it right this time, and you'll be the only one who gets to hear it for the first time with it being right.
Well, the positive side is it won't be any less funny.
I was driving down the road 3 years ago, and I was not paying attention. I rear-ended the driver in front of me. I walked up to the window wanting to take care of it, wanting to make sure he was okay. And it was a little person, a tiny little person. And he said, I am not happy. And I said, well, then which one are you?
That's terrible. But it's really funny.
There seems to be a genuine laugh.
Your costume reminded me.
I think you got a real laugh on that one.
I did.
Either that or Snow FOMO is good at faking.
Always better the second time. Not true.
And then it's even better when it's explained. It's explained.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
I thought she was listening and not laughing, and hence I was feeling tons of shame. And in my shame cycle, and I just wanted to get it off my chest and try to explain it so that at least she would know. And then only moments later do we learn she's not hearing a GD thing we're saying.
I know, it was really amusing. By the way, that second time you did it, when you were talking, Bill, about
Yes.
I'm not happy, you were banging your desk so hard, it was kind of jarring the microphone. It made it hard to hear. So I don't think Snow got it the first time. Could you do it once more so we can get the full effect?
I am not happy.
You're just getting all kinds of practice here.
Well, then which one are you?
I think you really sold that punchline, though.
Do you need to do it again?
No, I'm good.
You feeling good? Okay.
I'm good.
I think it just keeps getting funnier myself. So, Snow FOMO, why did you call us?
There's been some amazing stories. The last guest or caller talked about getting your hands. How did she word it?
Throwing your hands.
Throwing your hands in. And I did that on my mission with the Book of Mormon. Backhanded a guy who tried to assault us, and that was fun.
Can you tell us the story? What happened?
So,
where were you, and how did this come about?
Well, okay, so I served in West Virginia. Sorry, I gotta turn this speaker because even this is giving me feedback.
While you're doing that, I'll ask you this question, okay? What was the biggest job in American history?
Okay. I don't know.
Wheeling, West Virginia.
I figured if you laughed at Bill's, you're going to be a sucker for that one.
Oh my gosh.
You did prove your point, RFM. She will laugh at anything.
Okay. My kind of gal.
I might be a little loopy tonight. So, okay. That is an actual city in West Virginia. I don't know if people know.
That's what makes it funny.
I know. That's why I laughed. And then Bill's making fun of me for laughing. God damn it.
To be honest, I make fun of me too.
To be honest, I make fun of Bill too.
I'm making fun of all of us. And he does.
To be fair, Bill, a lot of times RFM will tell jokes, and I'm like, oh my hell, I'll be laughing and thinking it's hilarious. And you're over here like,
I don't get it.
So
I'm feeling bad
that's
for
on
Bill
you.
now. I'm going to stop making those jokes that he doesn't get.
Please stop. If you would stop making them, that would allow all of this to run smoother.
So you're over here laughing at me for laughing at his joke, but
Laughing at our jokes. Snow's FOMO. Not just his joke, our jokes. You laughed at our jokes. Let's get it right.
this is a one-night name.
Snow White is coming at Waldo.
You made me wear this. I made this years ago to wear to a trunk or treat for our ward thing. So I wore it going in when I was very young, and my ex was Prince Charming. He was so charming for 24 goddamn years.
Oh my gosh.
no
All the
longer.
best exes were Prince Charming.
Anyway,
You had,
okay.
you had a tale to tell.
Yes,
to the
tell us the
story.
tale of the backhand.
Stop distracting me. Okay.
Yeah, Bill.
Yes. Okay. So we're tracting, and that's all we did several years ago in West Virginia. And I had this little greenie that I was training in a trailer park, knocking on the doors, and we come up to this porch step, and she knocks on the door, and this dude answers it, and only she can see. And she's doing her spiel, representatives, Church of Christ Latter-day Saints. And he's like, do you want to hear a message? And he's like, oh, sure. Nobody had been looking us in all day. It was very terrible day for teaching people. So I'm thrilled. I'm like, yes, she got somebody to let us in. And of course, it's a guy, so we have to check that somebody's home. Well, he opens the door and he is in his whitey tighties. And that's it. But they're not white. They're like grungy, yucky. And I'm like, okay.
Kind of like garments after 10 years of wearing the same pair.
I thought you had terrible day tracting. Now you're getting picky.
Well, she's so young. And she clearly doesn't have the presence of mind, like she's so new, to say, well, hey, maybe we'll put some pants on before we come in. Like, she just goes in. So, of course, I follow her in before I realize the guy doesn't have pants on. So I'm like, oh, hey, we'll put some pants on. And I hear, like, I thought talking in the back room. That's been the TV. So I'm assuming somebody's at home. And so he comes back out with pants on. And I'm like, hey, is somebody else here? And he's like, no, but it's okay. I know all about the Book of Mormon. I'm like, no, we really need to have someone here. And he's like, no, sit down for a minute. And I said, okay, we're going to just sit down and make an appointment with you. And he's doing all he can to keep us talking. And he does start talking about like Nephi. He must have been a less active member or something. So as I'm trying to get our calendar out and stuff, he's like, so we have this coffee table between us. We're sitting on the couch. He's on the other side in a chair. And my companion is closest to the door, and I'm here. And he says, come on, sisters, give me a kiss. And I'm like, we're not doing that. And I said, this is how young and dumb I was. I was like, no more of that, or we're out of here.
Yeah, today it would just be, we're out of here.
This is how desperate we were. But we had to, like, In the day, it was very numbers driven mission. It was very like our who was it? The district leaders would call, how many discussion invitations did you get? Blah blah blah. And we would kind of get guilt tripped if we didn't have enough, whatever. So I so wanted to be able to come back and teach this guy. And the fact that he knew information like that no random person in West Virginia ever knew about the Book of Mormon. I was like, so I'm thinking he's just a little high. You could tell he was kind of on something. But again, he was very young. Give me grace, audience. I've seen your chat. So he's like, okay, I'm sorry, you're right. So I'm looking and I'm like, okay, we could come back on Thursday, but you have to have someone here. And he's like, okay. Anyway, so then he leans over and he's like, no, come on, man, just give me one kiss. And I'm like, okay, we're done. So then I do close up the books. I'm like, all right, let's go. So Mike kind of picks up her stuff. She starts to leave. And as I stand up to walk out, he reaches over and he grabs my arm. And that scared the shit out of me. I had the Book of Mormon in this hand. I'm just whack, hit him. And he falls over on his ass, collapses the coffee table. And I'm like, go, go, go. We were out of there. Of course, we never came back. But it was very scary, actually, to have somebody actually like physically lay hands on me, whether, well, especially if they were intoxicated or whatever. It was dumb. We shouldn't have been in there. But it's just one of those things of like, you don't get training on, hey, what do you do if the greenie follows a guy? You're young and
What an amazing story. I'm glad you had the presence of mind to whop that guy upside the head. Right in the words of Mormon.
Yeah. Well, it was just instinctual. So then I use it as a faithful, truly the Book of Mormon is more powerful than the sword or whatever, you know, that quote of the word of God. Anyway, now as on this side of it, I'm like, and even then more as I got older as an adult, I'm like, that was really dangerous. The fact that, you know, just putting these young women in these situations, going into these homes, not really knowing if someone was there. And then you watch, what is it with Hugh Grant, the movie that came out. I'm like, yep, did that. Yeah.
Wow, the Book of Mormon may not be sharper than a two-edged sword, but it is as blunt as a square-shaped club.
Yeah.
Why not the old flirt to convert?
Yeah. Not him. Oh, he's nasty.
Oh, you know, the difference between a romantic and a stalker is simply a matter of attraction. If you're attracted, that's a romantic. If you don't feel attraction, that's a stalker. You might need a restraining order.
No, he just needed to wash him. Just wash those grungy, not so whiteys. Then it would have been fine.
Hands over them, damn it.
I can smell them from here.
Oh my gosh. I think that's like Erie.
What I did want to tell you is I grew up moving around a lot, and one of the houses we lived in was a mortuary house. It had been a mortuary.
You lived in a mortuary house? Does that mean that your family was in the business?
No. So my parents either rented or bought a home that had been a mortuary. At one point, it had an embalming room, which was then our laundry room.
I bet they got a good deal on that.
I guess. But I remember, like, I was in 4th grade in Castledale, Utah, and my older siblings, of course, would tell us all these scary stories, and here's where the dead bodies were, because, of course, as teenagers, they just thought it was amazing and whatever. But and of course, that's the time when Poltergeist had just come out, and Nightmare on Elm Street, and all of these scary things. And I would sit there and watch it, and I don't know why my parents let us watch that shit. And then I'd have horrible nightmares, and I'd wake up and all the lightning and thunder in small town Utah, Castledale, Utah. And I had to go from this upstairs room where this creepy attic was and go all the way down to my parents' room and screaming the whole way. It was awful. Yeah. So.
Did you ever see anything?
No, I always thought I did. I always felt like there had to have been some kind of presence there, but because my mom also was obsessed with supernatural things, and to the point that then I couldn't ever get it out of my mind. It was almost like the church with "Don't touch your little factory," the whole talking about pornography to the point that then people it just makes the youth become more curious about it than they ever would be. So don't ever. She would always talk to us about Satanism, occult. Don't ever get involved in the occult. Don't ever play with Ouija boards. And then tell us these really scary, intense stories about it. Well, sister so-and-so, their lights were flickering on and off because their daughter went to a party and played with the Ouija board. Just crazy ass stories. I don't know. It was the 80s. I don't know if anybody, I can't follow the chat and tell these stories. So I don't know if anybody in the chat had similar things where it was
I don't follow the chat at all. I ignore the chat.
Okay.
Still, not because I don't love them. I watch it later, but it's so distracting. Actually, this is the only show that I actually even have it up on the screen. But I'm so engaged in what you're saying, Snow's FOMO, that I'm not paying any attention to the live chat right now.
But yeah, I used to have terrors, like night terrors and nightmares about just scary shit like that. And to the point where I would have nightmares about being possessed or overcome by like Satan or whatever. So it got to the point where I became like scrupulous, that religious scrupulosity, and praying every night that a shield of protection, of priesthood power would come over our home. And I had to do all of these religious things. Like, it's just so, I feel like, psychologically abusive what the church can do in some of these things.
I was not a Mormon yet at that age, so I just used a blanket over my head.
Well, that works too.
They're magic, aren't they?
Anyway, the last story I wanted to tell was about then as a full-grown adult out here. I'm in Oregon. We rented a house, and so a friend of ours had a beach house, and we had rented it several times before. And this is one thing I cannot explain. Because as I got older, I was like, okay, yeah, maybe it's just some random stuff. But the same house that we've been at before, I'd never had anything weird happen. And my third child was like 12 months old and a very good sleeper. She was my best baby in terms of being sleeping. She was in her own little room, middle of the night, and I wake up to her screaming in terror. Like, you had babies, when like something is very wrong. And this was a scream, a cry I had never heard, like blood curdling scream from her, like, get in here now kind of scream. And I flew in the room, and what I saw shocked me. I opened the door, and the TV in that room was on. Now, I know when I put her to bed, I was the last to go to bed. All the others went to bed. Everyone in the house was sound asleep. That TV was not on. And I have never seen that happen before. And again, we'd been going there for years. Like, she'd had siblings that were 8 years older than her. And that's how long we'd been going to that house. And it was this very, like, walking into that room, I was like, it was scary. It was very, like, I grabbed her blankies and her little things, and I hauled ass back into my room. I woke my ex up, and I was like, you go get her play crib right now. I'm not going back in that room. That's how it was, a very eerie, weird feeling. I don't know what happened in that room. And I'm like, how the fuck did that? Sorry, I swear like a sailor.
Now, I'm very interested in your story, but I'm trying to understand. Was there something that happened in addition to apparently the TV turning on when it had been off?
So, and that's like, I racked my brain because I'm like, there is no way. So he was in, those little travel play cribs, and she was too short to have like climbed up and climbed down. She couldn't escape it, number one. And the TV was up on a high dresser. So, and I remember talking to my ex about it, going, how did it get on? Because he was trying to calm me down. And I'm like, and he's like, I don't know, there could have been a short or whatever. And I'm like, why weren't any of the lights in the room on then? So yeah, maybe, I don't know. It was weird. And just that overall oppressive. I remember one of your other guests were talking about just that feeling of something is not right in this room. That's my ghost
Sometimes we
story.
feel things are off, don't we?
Yeah.
It makes you wonder what ghosts did before electricity was discovered. But actually, I say that in jest, but there is an answer to that because electricity has always been with us in the form, at least, of lightning storms. And it is said that the appearance of ghosts is more widely seen during lightning storms. And frequently, people who claim to have seen ghosts will see the ghost materialize, and it will seem as if there is white plasma material of some sort leaving the person and going to make up the ghost in the room, as if the ghost is taking energy from the person and using it in order to materialize.
Wow. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I can't explain that one.
I've had that happen before where TVs come on when nobody bumped a button, nobody's near the controllers. My parents lived in a split level home, and down in the lower level of the house was a pool table. And when you play pool, the pool stick hitting a ball and hitting other balls, it's a very specific noise that when you hear it, you know what you're listening to. And my parents upstairs in bed, half asleep, both of them would wake up. This happened multiple times. Both of them would wake up and go, "Did you hear that? Yeah, somebody's downstairs playing billiards. Somebody's downstairs playing pool." And my brother was away at college, and it was just the two of them, and they would go downstairs, and the pool table would always have its cover still on, nothing disturbed, nothing bothered. But again, multiple times they would wake up and go, "We both heard the same thing. Somebody just broke the balls to start a game of billiards." So sort of crazy.
Yeah. Wow.
Shit happens.
Yeah. Shit happens.
There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than will fit in your pool hall.
So
a little Shakespeare humor there on this Halloween.
Thank you, Snow White. Appreciate you dropping in.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. You guys are awesome.
Thank you. Happy Halloween.
All right, RFM. It is 10:16 at night.
Oh my gosh.
The time flew
10
by.
o'clock. You know what that means, Harold?
We worried that there would not be enough stuff, that maybe people wouldn't call in, that maybe we would end up having to fill the time, and
yes,
never happens.
You only had to read one story about church history.
One story.
10 o'clock. That's when the monsters come out.
A legion of devils in Preston.
Yeah, I remember hearing that story and thinking that was awesome.
Yeah. There's a few of those. There's a few little ghost stories from Mormon history.
Mm-hmm. Well, the first miracle was casting out the devil.
Was that the one of the night
history?
That was one of the
night, or it was a Murphy or somebody like that. It was a Newell there was Newell Knight, and there's Joseph Knight, and there's Joseph. Anyway, it's a Knight or a Newell. I think it's a Knight or a Newell is what it is. Two famous families in church history, which I tend to get confused.
I'm just looking it up now.
Was it Newell Knight? Was it
Newell Knight? Newell Knight's possession. Yeah.
So happy about that.
There you go.
Well, Newell Knight's possession got tossed around like a little rag doll until they called in Ed and Lorraine Warren. And
the Warren siblings. Yeah.
This was one of the first cases.
This was the Warren siblings. I remember them.
No, they're married.
I know. I didn't know, but I assumed, but I gave the wrong answer to suggest that I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Okay, because you do. You're just playing it up now.
I guess that they were a couple.
Do you remember Ed and Lorraine Warren? Have you seen The Conjuring?
I remember Lorraine Bobbitt. Now that was a scary Halloween story.
All men remember Lorena Bobbitt. Was it Lorraine or Lorena? I can't remember.
Lorena Bobbitt. Yeah, I know that she cut a penis off. Ooh.
John Wayne Bobbitt, right?
Wake up and
John Wayne Gacy I'm thinking of.
Yeah, he hit him in the cellar. I wake up and I go, "Where's Waldo?" When I think of the Lorena Bobbitt story. He woke up and he wondered where Waldo was, and it was 3 blocks down and 2 to the left and sitting in a bush.
Where's Waldo's wee-wee?
Yeah, it was. Don't piss off a lady that much. You should never piss off someone that much. That's going to hurt.
Words to live by
Yeah.
from Waldo.
Mm.
Well, thank you, everybody, for watching tonight. It's still Halloween. You still got some time left before midnight and the witching hour, when this holiest of holy days on the calendar reaches its holiest peak. It is Lorena Bobbitt, is my hero from Molly. Big surprise there. Molly's hero is Lorena Bobbitt.
Can I just say, again, yes, there are moments where you should defend yourself and whatever. They cut that off. That's a first I've ever seen in history, at least in modern history, of someone cutting off someone's penis. Maybe it scares me. Anyway, that's a
You've
thing.
mentioned it several times, much to my discomfort and that of many in the audience.
Well, deal with it.
I absolutely adore the Waldo costume, Bill.
Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't
pick it out for you. Did you pick that out for yourself?
I found it on Amazon, 2-day shipping.
But you picked it out.
I picked it out.
You came up with the idea.
I think I would actually look like Waldo if I put Waldo's clothes on.
Well, it's just not something I would expect for you to do. And so it's kind of novel. And I think you're right. You do look a lot like the titular character of the Where's Waldo books.
There he is.
There he is right there, looking sort of like a zombie on this Halloween.
There's that.
Nothing about my costume, Bill? You don't like my costume?
I think what makes your costume phenomenal is the chain that you've got on with the medallion.
Thank you.
And that sets it apart as primo vampire Dracula. Absolutely.
As incredible as my makeup is, the thing that actually took me the longest was getting this thing the right length. And it's still not quite the right length, but I almost had to choke myself because it's much longer. So I had to tie it in the back, and I had to like choke myself this way to try and get it tight enough to tie it in the back.
That's what
when I let it down, it wouldn't go too far. What? I'm sorry, Bill?
That's what she said. It was so long. I had to.
I know that's funny, but I was concentrating so much on what he's saying, I don't even get the joke. But I know the idea, and I've got a feeling that when I'm watching the live chat around midnight, that's going to be really funny.
Okay.
I'm going to LOL all over that one. But thank you. I'm glad that you like this, because this was the most difficult part. In fact, I was in the dressing room. I was swearing, time is passing. Go time is approaching, and I can't get this medallion that I paid so much money for. I almost didn't have it on. This is where it would be if it were where I wish, but that's pretty good. That's pretty close. And then once it was so tight, because I have it here, then I had to get it over my ginormous head. It doesn't have a clasp in the back. I either got to step into it or I've got to pull it over my head. Those are my only two options. I chose the head, and I almost lost this eye.
I can envision that. And I'm glad that you pushed through, that you got to the other side. I bet you felt a lot of relief once you pressed through it.
Well, wait till the show's over. I'm going to need the jaws of life to get out of this thing. Are you ready to close this, Mr. Reel?
I'm ready for you to close it. You're better at those kinds of things.
Thank you. I'll do the closing then. Everybody, thanks so much for watching. It's been a lot of fun. I really, really love Halloween, and I love doing the show, and I really appreciate all of you spending this very special time with us. I hope you'll join us again next Friday night for another episode of Mormonism After Dark. By the way, tomorrow night, November 1st, is going to go up at 7 o'clock p.m., the premiere, Mountain Time, the next Radio Free Mormon. It's called Are Mormons Christian? Everybody else is talking about it. I'm getting sick and tired of it. I'm going to give the final show and the final answer for all time on this question, so we don't have to deal with it anymore. Okay? Are Mormons Christian? Radio Free Mormon, tomorrow night, 7 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time. Then on Monday, we've got the newscast at 6 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time, the Mormon newscast. And next Wednesday, 6 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time, we will have Mormonism Live. We're going to have a special guest named Colby or Calabi or Rando or something. but I think his last name is Reddish. And we're going to be taking some new tools of artificial intelligence, which Colby's honed to quite a high degree, actually. And we're going to use them to explore a hypothesis that Colby came up with that has direct bearing on whether the Book of Mormon is as ancient as it claims to be. Science versus the Book of Mormon. We'll see who wins that grudge match on Wednesday night at Mormonism Live. Until then, once again, everybody, happy Halloween. Please hit like, please hit subscribe before you go, and have a wonderful weekend. Happy Halloween once again from us here at Mormonism After Dark. Good night.